Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to the Always Online Multiplayer Gaming Podcast brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things multiplayer related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, aka magicman, and I've got a plethora of hosts with me today because it is the 500th episode. Holy crap, 500 episodes from the free-to-play cast all the way up to here. If you're watching on YouTube, listening on iTunes, Spotify, any of the podcast platforms, thank you so much. Obviously, without you even giving a damn and listening, there wouldn't be 5 episodes, let alone 500. Now, for 500, we're going to kick this old school. There is not really a show notes or a structure to it today. I've got a bunch of hosts, current, past hosts. We're going to catch up with all of them, see what they're doing, what were they playing this year, and what were their opinions on some of the bigger stories in gaming this year, whether that's Activision, Yes Chat, the day before. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. The death of E3, and a bunch of other things. And honestly, I really don't expect this to hold tight to even that loose format with the panel I have here. So, in kind of an homage to our old show, way back when, there will be no cameras besides the one you're seeing here to get things started. We're going to just show game footage, and I've selected a fine sampling of game footage, including some of our own very first looks for some of our hosts and our first videos. We're just going to roll the game footage and talk about gaming. But first, we got to catch up with all the other hosts and see how they're doing. So first, let's go with you, Troy. You're a current host. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
I can't complain, except this is going to be a long 60 minutes. I can feel it.
Happy 500.
Yeah, you too, brother. You too.
I feel like I've been on 500 of these at this point.
You probably have. It's a high percentage. I think if I look at the panel, the only other one besides me that would beat you is probably our next host stopping in, Mr. Jason Winter. What's up, boss?
The usual.
The usual. What's the usual?
I'm always terrible at that when someone's like, what have you been doing lately? I'm like, I've been doing stuff.
I've been doing stuff. Oh my God, look at this footage. This is my very first look for MMOBomb ever. This is Perfect World International, 11 years old. 11 years old. Holy hell.
How old you were when you made this video?
Roughly. Yeah. Roughly. Right
That's
around.
how old Zach was.
Right around it is. Speaking of Zach, what's up, Mr. Sharps?
Probably. I mean, how old? 11 years?
Yeah. It was
I would have been 15.
Oh my God. Were
16? 17?
Seriously?
Something like that?
15?
I can't do math. Anyways. Yeah, what's up? I noticed as well as Japan Freak that you might have almost said free to play cast.
I know.
Beginning.
Yeah, it was intentional this time, actually, though.
Moment. Yeah.
Because there was a brain lapse where I'm like, should I just for old time? Nah, I'm not going to.
Yep.
How you doing?
Yeah,
how are your robot legs?
The robot legs are very good. They've been upgraded recently. I might be teetering on becoming a cyber psycho, but we're chilling, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, as far as what I've been doing my normal stuff. Still working on my game from that I've mentioned on the cast numerous points in time. Getting close to a Steam demo, so yeah, if you want to go wishlist it, Night of the Forgotten Realm on Steam.
And gets his plug in already. That's a marketer there. You got to get them in early. Also,
I figured it'd be a quick one though.
Also on the line, Mr. Sean Lang. How are you, Sean?
Hey, how's it going? Gotta say, you don't look a day over 499. So
that sounds about right. How are you, my friend? Sean was on a few episodes, and I've tried to get him on a few more, but schedule hasn't really worked out on your side. I'm so glad you were able to make it today.
It's a real pleasure to be here.
You ready to chat some games? Maybe.
Oh, I got so many hot takes.
All right, we'll get to those shortly. Also on the line, Mr. Dom Greco. You may remember him as Zista. What's up, Dom?
Hey, hello. Why am I here?
I don't know. Honestly, I was just like, Discord holds 10. I only have 9.
Yes, the afterthought. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, Sean, how do you not say that on chat? How do you type that in chat but not say it? That's such a great line. Particularly if you were here for pre-show, Sean says, or should I say hot cakes instead of hot takes?
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh man, that's an opportunity lost by you, Sean. That's an opportunity lost. Wilfredo, your mic keeps going hot, but I don't hear anything, so I hope you're there.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, whew. What's up,
Can't go rid of
Wilfredo?
that easily.
I'll tell you what's up. The garbage truck.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So that's the reason why my mic went quiet, but it keeps going off. The garbage truck.
All right. Well, I mean, at least it's not a cricket.
I haven't heard Larry since I moved, which is a great thing, but he still owes me money.
Still owes me money. Also here joining us, yes, we're not done introducing everybody yet. We've got Matthew. What's up, sir?
Hey guys, happy 500, even though I haven't been here until like somewhere in the 480s, 490s.
Hey, man, you're
Believe
part
on
of the
a handful
family.
of
You're
these,
part of the
but
family.
yeah, like I told Mike, this is my favorite hour of the month. Happy holidays, y'all.
And
Hey.
finally on the line right now, Damina. Welcome back. It's been a while.
That's been a while.
It's been a long time. Do you even still game?
I mean, in the traditional sense,
What?
no.
Wait, in the traditional sense, what does that mean?
I don't have time. I don't have the time for
All
real
right,
gaming.
that's a
so
bunch
I
of shenanigans.
silly
We'll get to
game.
why that's shenanigans later because I walk through the living room and I see gaming going on. I also
Well, I mean,
see
that's not fair.
I also see battle passes on the bank account.
Okay, but that's a limited amount of time. I don't have the time for like 14 or anything. And
Now there's
Caught in
a
4K.
there's a few hosts that weren't able to make it. So I do want to say hello from them. Kaylin, not able to make it and not really able to send a message to everybody or anything celebrating 500, but she did want to say, hey, congrats. So sad she couldn't be there. Unfortunately, her part of the neck of the woods here for her in the United States had some tornadoes recently, and it's a little rough down there. So Kaylin sends her regards. She misses all of you and will aim to be on a show soon. And then I also have a note from Brim. Brim was here for our 400th episode, was not able to make the 500th episode due to traveling to Mexico for work. So hopefully he has a safe trip. But he did want me to read a little thing he wrote to you, everybody watching, to the free-to-play community. First and foremost, congratulations on a huge achievement. What do the kids call trophies now in games? Either way, very proud to see what the cast has become over the years. I would never have expected something like this to go past 7 episodes, but you guys kept it alive. For the ones that do know who I am, I thank you for keeping the spirit alive. For the ones that don't know who I am, maybe I'll make an effort to show my face again at some point. Unfortunately, the stars did not align this time, and I continue to move backwards in technology. I think the last time we recorded my video using a phone, and now we're typing up a transcript. Gave up on PC and gaming systems and have now moved back to board games such as Catan and Ticket to Ride. Hopefully I get another chance to come back before Magicman has to write my biography. But seriously, congratulations again, and hopefully I get to see you out on the internet. Love, Brim. P.S. Star Wars The Old Republic is still the greatest broken game of all time, and I'll die on this hill. That's absolutely a hill he will die on. He will die on. And one more before we get kicking around with some actual game news here. Spunkify was not able to make the show today. Neither was Havoc, although Havoc, if he gets off of a conference call early enough, will ping me and we'll jump in later in the episode. So hopefully that works out. Spunkify did send a little video over, so I'm going to play that for the viewers now. Hosts, you won't be able to hear this, so please just remain quiet until you hear my voice again.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Spunkify here on behalf of MMOBomb.com, coming to you from beyond the podcast. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend or make it for this 500th episode, although that's just insane to say. 500 episodes is crazy. I wish I could have been there. Magicman graciously invited me to come back, but I wasn't able to make it, so I'm coming to you now with just a quick little video saying thank you again for supporting MMOBomb all these years. Thank you for supporting Magicman and this podcast. and really appreciate the time that I've had to spend with this. Even now, coming back to the show and back to MMOBomb.com after so many years. So really appreciate that. And I just wanted to reach out here and tell you guys that I think about you all the time. I will say just really quickly, because it's always asked, what are you playing right now? I'm still playing War Thunder. If you watched the last episode about 4 months ago, I was playing War Thunder, still playing it now. Over 1,000 hours now in War Thunder. I can't believe it. I'm a little bit ashamed to say. Rivaling my League of Legends time, if you guys have been following me for that long. So yeah, playing a lot of tanks, and other than that, just enjoying the content that MMOBomb has to offer and what is out there in the free-to-play game space. So for all of you, again, I really do appreciate all the support. Thank you again, Magic Man, for inviting me to come on the show. And thank you again for giving me an opportunity here to say hello to everyone from the old crew, as well as the community. I hope to see you guys again soon for maybe the next episode, maybe the 750th episode. Hopefully not just the 1,000th episode. I would like to come back before that, Magic Man. But until next time, I'll see you later. Spunkify out. Later, guys.
Very nice of Spunkify to come and send that video over for everybody. Nice catching up with him. We'll aim to get him on an episode very soon. He knows he's always invited. I don't know why he's throwing those little shots. Yes, Magic Man will invite you. Absolutely. You know you're always invited. Glad him and the family are doing well. And man, that dude in some war games. Woof. Woof. He's liking the war games. So I think let's kind of catch up, gang. Jason, we'll start with you, boss. It's 2023, been a kind of an up and down year across gaming, depending on what you're talking about. But what have you been enjoying since you've kind of left MMOBomb, retired? You're enjoying the retired life. What are you playing? What are you liking? What news has you shaking your head or excited? Catch us up.
I've been enjoying not working for you anymore.
Oof.
Oh, man.
Got him.
Damn. Looks like Jason disconnected from the call. Oh, that's a shame.
Look, I did one first look last year after I left. That was all. That was all you got out of me from then on.
That's it. That's it.
And actually, I've still been playing. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch lately. Now that I found some people to actually play with, that's really been a help rather than having to go forward alone.
That's usually a help, yeah.
Because earlier this year, I finally got into like Red Dead RP, so I was doing a ton of that. That was like my main thing for like about 3 or 4 months there. But a lot of cool people. I still hang out with some of them. They might even be in chat. Who knows? Hi. But yeah, I play Overwatch with them. I play Phasmophobia. We even got a D&D group going on. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And I got something else I've been doing too. I'm going to save that for like the little stuff at the end where we like tell about our projects.
Where you can plug some stuff.
Yeah, I want to plug. Yeah, I'll save my plug for the end.
No problem. So Overwatch 2 is the interesting one for me. Like, obviously, you've always been the Overwatch guy when it came to coverage on MMOBomb when it was the original, and then as Overwatch 2 was becoming a thing, and just like the fiasco that kind of became with the cutting of the PvE, and like, why is this a separate game now, etc. But you've stuck with it where a lot of people haven't. So what's going on in that world that makes you stay when a lot of people have left?
Having people to play with, because it's still the same shit that it was before. I mean, I enjoy it the exact same amount I did, about a year ago, which was, it's still fun to play, but I hate the cash shop. So,
right.
But having people to do it with makes a big difference.
Were you angry at the PvE stuff being stripped?
Not so much. They went through a lot of stuff. When I looked into it a lot more, I found that the Bobby Kotick really wanted the Overwatch League.
Oh yeah,
and
which
Jeff,
is now gone.
Yeah, and Jeff wanted the PVE.
Yep.
Jeff Kaplan wanted the PVE, which is now gone. And apparently they not came to blows exactly, but they had their own different idea of how it should go, and neither one of them worked. So it's like, just focus on what you do sort of well, and stop trying to make it into everything else. And maybe they'll have better success at it. I'm actually surprised, like when they first announced Overwatch 2 and they were saying, okay, every 2 seasons we're gonna have a new hero and we're gonna have new this and new that. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they were gonna alternate like a hero and a map every season.
Yeah. And honestly, they've been keeping it going still. And at BlizzCon, they announced the new stuff they'll be doing over the next year. So I'm mildly optimistic that they're actually gonna stick with it for a while and not go off on some other crazy tangent. But All right. They've got my attention still for the time being.
That's impressive. That's impressive. What about you, Sean? Been a while. What are you playing? What struck your fancy in 2023?
I mean, this year has been pretty incredible. I still play a lot of Dead by Daylight. That game is kind of like, you know how people like will play League and get just really mad and rage quit, and then go back the next like hour.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's me. That's me in Dead by Daylight. I'll quit, but
sounds like me in Rocket League. Sounds like me in Rocket League. I get mad at a match, I abandon, and I'm like, well, I'm shutting it down because I have a 5-minute timer on abandon anyway. And then eight minutes later, it's booting back up.
Yep.
Have you played like Chucky or any of the? Do you get like the DLCs and all that stuff? Or?
So yeah, I did play the good guy. He's very broken. He's a really good killer. And it's really refreshing because from Xenomorph to now Chucky, the last two killers have been really cool, and they introduced new aspects to the game. Like it's the first time that a killer had the third person point of view, and the way that they've just integrated all of what you'd expect from a killer into this new third person view is pretty incredible. So I give them props on that.
Fantastic. So a battle pass buyer, right?
No. I'm ashamed to say, but the only battle pass I will buy is Diablo 4. But
I mean, there's worse battle passes to buy. There's worse battle passes to buy.
Yeah.
Hey, Demina. What's an example of a worse battle pass to buy?
Fortnite might be a worse battle pass to buy.
No, that sounds about right. Hey, what's this Epic Games charge on our bank account? What have you been playing? And
the Fortnite Battle Pass.
Unreal.
That's what it is.
Unreal. Why have you gotten back into Fortnite of all things?
Because our daughter asked me one time to play. I originally started playing that because she had a lot of time playing it. I was in like 7th grade, and I figured if my kid was a lot of time doing something, I ought to know what it is. So I sat down one day and said to her, show me what this game is and teach me how to play it. And so then she and I used to play it, and then I got out of it or whatever. And she asked me recently to play it again, and she is equally sucked back in. Okay? But I got probably the most sucked in I've ever gotten by this game, and I just don't know why. I figured out how to use the shotgun, and that was it.
I mean, it's just like a point and click, right? It's
I was never good at this game before, though. Then they put in the no build mode, so I'm like even regular player, right? And I never was good at building. Well, they put in the no build mode, and now I can everybody.
Yeah,
all of a sudden.
I've literally having kids, totally respect the, I might not like this game, but I'll play it with the kids. I've done that with Overwatch a little bit, the original Overwatch here and there with our boys, but I just got to point out, I think the number of times I've walked through the living room to go outside to smoke and you were swearing at the television, I'm pretty sure most of those times our daughter wasn't even home, let alone playing.
I was playing and died.
What were those?
I'm not denying it. I told you I got sucked right back in. And also, swearing at video games that are frustrating is kind of like my signature move.
Yeah, you absolutely, gang, should never. I could not stream if she played the old Frogger games on the PlayStation 1. I'd love to stream that for you, but there's only so much swearing you can do before you cause a problem. And literally, Frogger and Frogger 2 on the PlayStation 1, our kids must have been, like 5 at the time, and it's like, okay, Daddy's taking the kids for a walk because Mommy's calling everybody cunt.
Oh my gosh.
Not that word. Definitely not that word.
Oh, you've used it.
Maybe not that one.
You've used it.
Not at Frogger. You might have learned the F word.
Not at Frogger. She's just not at Frogger. All right, Wilfredo, what are you playing, my friend?
I've been bouncing around a lot, actually. Let's see. I jumped back into Ultimate Online. That
Wow.
I'll talk about that. Yeah, it's I'm jumping between two versions. I'm jumping between the official EA and then the private shard, and I'm having way more fun in the private shard. That should be something for EA to fix if they ever do. Just started playing Final Fantasy 14 because they've got that extended trial, and I'm really digging it.
It's critically acclaimed, I hear.
Yeah, no, it's a really good game. I wonder if it's ever gonna, do more.
I wonder if it's gonna catch on.
Yeah. What else? I jumped back into WoW recently just to see what that's like.
You and Matthew both.
It's not like I really want to, but it's more like a kind of confronting demons kind of thing, because I still have a lot of hate for that game, but I'm trying to grow past that. And that's just some of what I've been doing. Like, obviously, I've been playing some ESO here and there, but for the most part, I've just been like, I need an itch to get scratched. But there's more like Pathfinder 2 that's been going on whenever I have the opportunity to play it. But other than that, that's really it.
Man, this footage actually makes me want to play Alad's Online. Holy hell.
I actually re-downloaded that game like a few days ago.
Oh, man.
Did you really?
I did really. So I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, wow.
Alan's
It wasn't a bad game. It wasn't a bad game.
No.
Just had a very bad cash shop.
Yeah. And they were sneaky about it. It wasn't a bad cash shop until Endgame.
Yep.
Yeah.
You were like, this is actually pretty fair. And then you get the end game and you're like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Matthew, back in WoW, we talked about that. Japan, this first look was done by somebody named Chris. I don't know Chris. The first look was done in May of 2011. My very first look, which we were just watching some of from Perfect World International, was November of 2011. So Chris slightly predates me. I don't know if he was still there while I was there, because I started as just an ad hoc contributor too. So there may be some overlap between Chris and I time-wise, but I never met Chris like to do a podcast or to do a video together or even have a conversation. So I don't know. The person's name is Chris. Matthew, still hanging around in World of Warcraft? You gave us that update last week. How's that going?
I sure am. I'm approaching max level, at least for this first phase, and yeah, I'm having a blast. But I think I am a different case because I'm pretty much a new player. As I mentioned on the last podcast, I played a couple hours of retail like one day when I was bored, and I played the launch of Classic WoW back when it launched years ago for like that first month. Didn't keep playing after that though. And also I had friends at the time who were playing it. This I'm playing totally solo, and yeah, I'm friggin' hooked, man. But I don't know. My experience might be different because like it's not just that Season of Discovery is new for me. It's Classic WoW in general. Like everything is new to me.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that for a new player, like as I've experienced, it's a pretty good MMO to jump into right now. No pay to win, at least. I mean, there's a gold buy-in problem right now, I think, but it's a subscription, so everyone's pretty much, can't just pay to progress. Everyone has to put the work in, and yeah, I don't know, having a blast.
I think it's funny, like Matthew's got the new player experience and Wilfredo's going back just to like right the wrongs that the Fell Reaver did to him when he was a teenager. I hate that noise. What you got going, Zach?
Yeah, so I played obviously Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh
which
yeah,
was amazing.
Oh yeah,
and then I went into sort of an MMO binge, and I'm still kind of in it. So I played Final Fantasy 14.
You do that though, like you've talked about that on this show before, where you like don't play any for like 9 months, and then you're playing 6 at the same time.
Yes, and so I finally got around to beating Shadowbringers, which it kind of was a blessing and a curse because I really loved it in some ways, but I don't think I'm going to play Final Fantasy 14 ever again unless they have massive overhauls, because I swear like 80% of that game is just like chat bubbles, and then like you actually get to do some combat, and then you have like 2 more hours of like story to go through. So like it was really awful for me from a pacing perspective. But for the dungeons and the raids in that game are just absolutely exquisite. I love them so much. Like the final part of Shadowbringers, oh, so good. And then I got into World of Warcraft and kind of had like an opposite experience. Like I would say that WoW is like a more consistent game than Final Fantasy 14 in terms of like it's good this like all the time, but it never reaches a phenomenal point. Like and that's my issue with it. But right now I'm playing Season of Discovery, and oh my god, the nostalgia is this smacking me across the face left and right. I've absolutely been loving it. It's been having a good time. It feels like an adventure. It just sort of strikes the chord that I've been looking for a little while in MMOs, like a more classic feeling game. And it's just bringing back a lot of memories. So I've been enjoying that a lot as I've been waiting for other games on the horizon to eventually release. So that's what I've been doing.
God damn it. I seriously might download Alad's Online after this show.
I'm telling you, watching this is like making me want to try it too.
I played it forever ago, right? Like when you finally got bored of WoW, free to play just really started to become a thing in the West when Lotro did it, and then DDO did it, and I know it's not good. Why would I do that? Like, but I'm probably going to.
I've got to say, this is my first hot take. I haven't played both Season of Discovery and Alad's Online. I mean, obviously, Alad's has kept up better graphically, and just like how smooth it is, it's been pretty incredible.
It was always
years after.
Yeah, it's always been pretty for its age, because it kind of took that. I mean, it's literally a WoW clone, and that was its biggest thing back then, right? Like,
if you didn't tell me this was a different game, I would think it was WoW from first glance.
Yeah, and that was even back when it was. When it came out, it was like, this is, we know we throw around the term WoW clone, but this is legitimately a WoW clone, even back in the day there. So, yeah, I think it was like, just like when I played it, I spent a fair amount of time in it, and I was like, this is, if I'm bored with WoW, I can come and play this. I don't know why, because it's just WoW, but whatever. What do you got going on, Dom? What's your game of the year? What are you playing?
Game of the year, wow.
Like it doesn't even have to come out this year. Like just what's the most hours?
I've been playing, I've been playing a lot of Hunt Showdown.
Oh yeah.
It's such a weird concept for me because I've always hated battle royale style games, and this one, because of the PvE, draws me in. I don't know, I've just been having a lot of fun with that. They're doing their new winter event right now, the final one to wrap out the end of the year. But I've also kind of gone back and played almost at least one game that everybody here has been talking about. Like I've still been keeping up with WoW a little bit. I just reinstalled Overwatch 2 after like 4 or 5 months of it being uninstalled on my computer. Jason made a statement of like Blizzard just stick with what they're good at. But the one thing Blizzard's been phenomenal at is storytelling, and that's the one thing that's always been missing from Overwatch in the actual game itself, not the outside media sources. So I was very disappointed when the PvE got canceled. I'm still disappointed to this day. And with that being said, I still haven't bought the PvE DLC yet. So
neither have I.
Are we gonna raid in the next expansion again for a bit?
I don't know. I technically started raiding with Chafnet the start of this one, so I don't know, but that always felt dirty because then I had to play Alliance, or I was still playing Horde, but it's like that cross faction stuff that they added, right? But yeah.
And last but certainly not least, Mr. Troy, I saved you for last because you're the most recent. Everybody knows what you're playing, but what's your game of the year then?
Game of the year this year has been New World with the expansion.
Oh shit! It looks like Troy's disconnected. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Although I'm currently in the middle of a nostalgia hit, my yearly nostalgia hit. I've been playing Rift for the past few days with a back injury. So,
what?
Speaking of WoW clones.
Yeah.
Really?
Why would I download this game again?
Okay, so like, why did you get into Rift again? He says as he contemplates downloading Alad's Online.
just that nostalgia hit from back in the day. I was New World. I was waiting on season 4 to begin, and I was just looking for something else to get into. And I was like, you know what? I haven't played Rift in about a year. Let me get in there. Let me hear the sounds of the quest completion and hear some of the music and some of that, and bring back those good memories of back in the day. For the past few years, because it's really starting to feel dated now.
Man, Sean bringing up in chat Runes of Magic too. Good Lord.
Don't mention that game.
Oh, I tried that game again like a couple years back, and it did not age well at all. Oh man.
Runes of Magic was always interesting to me because it did something very similar to Final Fantasy XI, right? Where that was my MMO forever, for a long time. Domina's too was Final Fantasy XI, and Runes of Magic let you, pick 2 classes. Now I think they let you do 3, right? I think that was a change a few years ago that you're picking 3 classes and going like a subclass and a subclass or whatever the hell they want to call it. Man, Runes of Magic. I
mean, those were the days where, certain people couldn't afford, World of Warcraft, couldn't afford a subscription. And so you just do your best to avoid the cash shop and just play the game as you could take it.
Absolutely.
Free to play.
Lots of memories. Like right now, Jason, I've got the Total War Battles Kingdom first look
That's what
going.
I thought it was. Yeah,
it's Jason's first look with the site. Total War Battles Kingdom. And when I asked him, hey, do you remember your first look so I could use it for B-roll? He was like, oh God, that game was horrible. Here it is.
And it's a shame we don't have the audio going, because I remember too what I did is like I got a sound effect off my phone, like a little ka-ching sound. And every time it directed me to the cash shop, I played that over in the video.
Was that
here's
one
where
of
they want
those-
you to spend in the cash shop? Ka-ching.
Was that one of those like MMORTSs when there was like a phase of different companies doing that, like Age of Empires Online?
It was like
Oh, and also
those
Stronghold Online.
asymmetrical
Oh God.
games where like you get your army going and then someone else will raid you, and when you're offline or whatever, that sort of thing. And it takes hours to build your stuff. It was, that's what kind of what it was like.
Absolute
So more like
mess.
Clash of Clans.
Yeah, I mean, it had like Total War. Well, it wasn't even really Total War battle, Total War kind of mechanic. You just had, like, see here, you got your little army out, and you'll issue a few commands, and they'll do a little fight, and it wasn't really RTS. It was just TS.
It was just TX for
Turn strategy.
transactions.
See, they're lined up like that, and I'll issue an order or whatever. I think so. Yeah,
It was just transactions.
It was a mobile game.
It wasn't
It was a
real time anything. It was real time credit cards.
Real time transaction processing.
Look at how fast those armies are moving. I mean, look at that speed.
The action. This is intense.
It
Come
is.
on, guys. Oh,
It's like moving out of the way of Austin Powers Steamroller.
A couple of them got some speed bursts. Look at those guys. Look at them go. Is this even
I
still
did great.
available? I have no idea. Probably
No,
not.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
You probably died a pretty quick death.
Oh, the one thing I'll just mention too, to bring it up in Total War that I just noticed. You remember how Pharaoh got really lambasted a few months ago?
Yeah.
They've apparently reduced the price, and they're giving refunds to people who paid the full price for it.
Nice. I mean, that's the least they could do, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of
Sometimes I ask
refunds,
too
let's
much.
talk about some news of the year and get some takes on it, because I know some of you absolutely want to chime in on the day before fiasco. We got to talk about that last week a little bit on the show when the game had launched and was an absolute mess. But what happened in the subsequent days was absolutely amazing since our last show. 4 days after the day before goes into early access at $40 a pop, fantastic, F-fantastic, whatever you want to call them, their CEO disappears from Twitter and from LinkedIn. The company announces that the game's a financial failure 4 days after early access launch, so much so that they're closing. That's not how business works, people. That's just, if you have to close your business, it wasn't because of the sales of your game in the first 4 days when Steam doesn't even pay out until the 30th. So they disappeared, and they've had some lovely responses online to customers like, shit happens, which is not exactly what people wanted to hear, as Steam took the game down And Mytona, the company publishing the game, worked with Steam to open up refunds regardless of the 2-hour play limit. What an absolute cluster. I think we all saw it being a cluster, but how fast it became a cluster, Wilfredo, is astounding.
This is an understatement. Okay, now I remember being on one of the podcasts when we were first looking at the trailer. I believe it was you, me, and Troy, and we all had the same idea. This game looks empty, right? And then to see this easily mitigated disaster, if they would have just put more time and been honest about this stuff, to just happen.
I'll be honest, I think is a lot for game companies these days. This wasn't even what they said it was going to be when it came out. We talked last week about it just being
they scrubbed it.
Yeah, just being an extraction shooter instead of an open world MMO, Zach. I mean, their Steam description still said open world MMO even after early access launched.
We were looking for that at launch.
Yeah, it reminds me of the whole if you remember, there was a game called War Z back in the day.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That was Infestation,
Sergei
survival
Titov.
stories. Yeah, and it reminds me of that, but even they didn't like close down immediately. They kept like it going for a while. I think it still is active today. Like that's what I thought this whole thing was going to be, is like they were going to launch it and just like have it be vaporware that just sits there and does nothing, but they still collect some money from people who just like to play broken games or whatever. Like that's what I thought was going to happen, but no, they exceeded my expectations. Just shut it down immediately, which was crazy.
Yeah, and what's weird is that they didn't try to shut the game down at first. They tweeted out saying the company was closing and that the future of the game was unsure. Within like 2 hours, I was writing an update to the piece because Steam was like, no, that's not how that works, friend. We're closing down your game too.
I guess they became more sure.
It became.
Oh.
In fact, they became certain.
Yeah, they became certain that they were shutting down. I was catching you up on all this, and you were just like slack-jawed while all this was going, while I was describing it to you.
It was incredible.
I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like it, huh?
I personally haven't. But all the good stories, because I live here, and when thing happens, I get to hear about it. So, but I will say, this is why you don't pay for anything or a beta or
Yeah, you've always been against.
At least they got their money back.
Yeah, that's true. You've always been against the like paying for early access or betas. Most of us are against paying for betas. Some of us dabble in the early access, but yeah.
Early access, if it's what is being advertised, is different than what happened here. What happened here was early access for a completely different experience than what they were selling from the beginning.
Yeah, just a bit. Did anybody besides me on the panel buy it? I bought it to do a video for how bad it was, thinking this will be cute. I'll put it up on MMOBomb or whatever.
We're gonna make fun of my battle pass, and you bought this shit.
Oh, I was like, yeah, I'll be cute. I'll put up a pithy video on MMOBomb. About 38 minutes later, I was like, no, I can't. It's not worth hanging on to this for more than 2 hours. I'm going to refund this. So I was ahead of the game and refunded in the 2 hours and just totally foregone. It said, no, I'm not going to do an MMOBomb video. Did anybody else, even out of morbid curiosity, jump into this?
No, heck no.
I got better things to do with my money.
Yeah, right. And my time.
It would be more entertaining to literally light it on fire.
I agree.
It's one of those things, like, I knew it was a train wreck. It was always going to be a train wreck. There was no other result other than it being a train wreck. So why would I just entertain it being a train wreck?
Yeah, I think I said it on last week's show, and somebody put it in the comments when I was writing the updates this week about the company closing, and we both had the exact same thing. We all knew this was going to be a failure. The only thing that's surprising is how fast it went down. That was the only surprise.
I think the surprise for me was the fact that they even pushed it to early release, because if you look at stuff like Dreamworld, if you look at other scam attempts, they never really got as far as this one did. And so the fact that they made it on Steam early access, I was surprised that they were bold enough to actually go that far with it.
Yeah, you keep it on Kickstarter, you sell it on your own website, so that way no one can refund it. That's like the peak scamming behavior. You don't release it on Steam where people can actually refund it.
I love that like the day before it went into early access too, Jason, they put up this like revelations post. And they were like, thank you to, all our supporters and everything. And then they also said, like, to our detractors, we are not a scam. We never took any money from anybody. We never had pre-orders. We never had crowdfunding. And I'm like, you don't have to steal money to be a scam.
You just have to say this is not a scam. That's
I think what they did is they hired the PR firm that did the early Fallout 76 PR.
Oh, jeez.
Ooh.
So bad.
They should have hired the No
We're not
Man's
going to do
Sky
anything
PR.
about this.
Even in their closing announcement, they reiterated the fact that they had never taken pre-order money or crowdfunded money. And it was like, okay, but you used this huge following of yours for 2 years to market 2 or 3 other small side project games, most of which you quickly abandoned after launch anyway. There was one video where like the reveal of the day before stuff was just totally eclipsed by them showing off some like communications app or some social networking app that they had created. Like, you were trying to gain from this in other ways by marketing other things to people. And just because you didn't have the audacity to also put it on Kickstarter doesn't mean you weren't a scam.
And on top of all that, you're lying about what you actually are the entire time.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, to your point, Zach, I think the only reason, or not Zach, who said something about surprised that it actually released?
Me, Sean.
Sean, sorry. I knew somebody else.
Host, Mike can't keep track of
Yeah, I know. It's a mess. It's a mess. To Sean, your point, I think, is perfect. I think because they had to, right? I think they were in a position. Your company doesn't close 4 days after your game launches because you didn't sell enough. That just does not happen. You were already closing. This was like the last ditch. Let's get something out there. Maybe people will be cool with it. Maybe we'll make a little bit of money. Maybe it'll save us and let us do what we want to do. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, now we're closing. I think it came out because that was the only play. It was either that or close having released nothing, where maybe some off fluke you get a chance to keep going because not as many people are pissed off as ended up being.
Yeah, I mean, I made the joke, but like maybe they should have taken the No Man's Sky route, because at the end of the day, like, that game released claiming it was multiplayer, massively so, and it wasn't. And yet, look at it today. They've rebounded and earned the respect of the entire industry. But this just, I feel like the way No Man's Sky released and this is actually pretty parallel, but I don't know. It's just kind of disappointing that they didn't stick it through.
Tori, that's a great point. But like, can you even put this on your resume? Could you imagine being somebody that worked on this game? You have no job for the last 5 years that you could put on your resume.
Ooh.
You gotta wonder whether or not they leveraged the early sales of the game for like potential, like a loan or something like that, like, or potential investment, saying, hey, look at how much we've sold, we're just waiting on it to arrive, can you please give us an investment so we can reinvest it or something, like, just to further the scam even more. I just wonder if they did that or not, because it totally seems like they're the type of team that would try and do something like that
To get some venture capital.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they said in the closure announcement that all their revenue was going to be used to pay off debt to partners. So naturally, I immediately emailed Mytona, their publisher. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you are the primary debtor that stands to gain from any sales of this game. Do you have a comment on what is going on, the reception of the game and all this stuff? No comment was the reply. And then finally, the next day, they did chime in on Twitter saying we're working with Steam to get refunds for everybody. What a mess. What an absolute mess. And then, yeah, the CEO disappears from LinkedIn and Twitter.
I think that when they advertised their other little apps and stuff after they built this huge platform and community and, did all of that, the money that they garnered from that is somehow separate, or will that also be going to pay off their debts here?
They said that they're not going to make any revenue from the Steam sales. Because they're all being refunded. Anybody that wants a
Right.
refund can get one, and yeah.
The sale of this game, right? But
Yeah.
not for any revenue that came from the other things that they advertised.
Oh no,
using
of
their
course
community.
not. Of course not. Yeah, no, No Man's Sky was nowhere near this bad. No Man's Sky was still bad. By the way, when I saw Sean at the Game Awards and he announced his new game, I screamed at my monitor, "Don't believe him yet." No Man's
Even
Sky
memes to
might
that
be
effect as
might be
well.
great now, but I still remember what you did, buddy. I still remember what you
I
did.
remember what you did last game summer
Right, right.
10 years ago.
He was memeing about that on Twitter. It was kind of funny.
Hey Matthew.
Luckily, like,
sorry. Go ahead, Dom.
I was gonna say, luckily, you don't hear about this kind of stuff very often. It's few and far between. Like, I think the biggest one that I remember was like, I think it was actually 10 years ago, was Cube World, right? And it's a bit of a different story.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you remember Cube World, but it was like, it was one developer and his wife or something.
Yep.
It was like
It was a
duo.
husband-wife combo.
Yeah, they sold a bunch of things. The game exploded. They like did way better than they thought they were gonna. And then he just disappeared. And everybody thought that he like scammed him and all this stuff. And he just went dark on the internet for, I think it was a year or something like that.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden he just came back and started posting like nothing happened and started posting updates again. And I believe they're still doing it to this day, even though like Steam says that the game's never been updated, but he's still posting stuff on his Twitter. Last I knew, I checked in like a year ago or something.
Stojan saying No Man's Sky is actually good. Yeah, we recognize that it's actually good now, but it doesn't take away the fact that you lied for as long as you lied. Here's some Lost Ark footage from the Korean beta, courtesy of Zach's first video with MMOBomb. Go ahead, Sean.
No, that's the thing though. Like, I'm genuinely like upset about the No Man's Sky situation because I believed everything that they said the game was going to be, and it was like literally like 10-15% of everything that they'd announced that they were going to have on release.
You just described Overwatch 2.
Oh, don't even get me started on that one. I'm actually boycotting the game. I'm not even joking. Like, I don't play it. When they announced the cancellation of PvE, I literally uninstalled it, and I have not played it since.
The closing of Fantastic or F-Fantastic, whatever, it reminded me of something, or I saw a comment that somebody replied on Twitter when they announced their closure, and I was like, this is a really savvy comment, and I'm sure most on this panel and most watching this type of show are going to get this, but the reply to them was this a Kurt Schilling run company? Which was a fantastic reply. Fantastic reply. No, because taxpayers didn't get stuck with the bill for the day before. Yeah, the day before. Hey, Matthew, what do you think about the death of E3? That's some other big news this year that just popped this last week. The official, I mean, it's been like, we've been watching it die for years, but the ESA has officially said, yeah, we're done. We're done.
You know, it's sad because I genuinely, like, me and my brother growing up, we would sit down and watch E3 like every single year. It was awesome. It was like the Super Bowl for gamers. And now we have the Game Awards, and like, I know that the Game Awards is more trailers than awards, but it's basically like dollar store E3 at this point, but like it does the job. So like it's not like we don't have, a big event every year. We do have the Game Awards, and I'm personally okay with that. But I mean, it's not as good as it didn't hit. I don't know if it's nostalgia, but it doesn't hit as good as E3 used to, and that's sad day for gamers.
Yeah, there's a part of me that's a little sad about it. I never actually got to go in person. I had a couple opportunities, but it just didn't work out. Way back when it was industry only, I was running a video game store at the time, but I wasn't able to make it there. And then as press, just like the last 5 or 6 years, Jason, like the most convenient part of E3 for us was that we could watch one set of things and get all of the news and write about it. It is obviously easier and cheaper for Nintendo to do their Nintendo Direct, and Sony to do their Sony Showcase, and Xbox to do their thing, and this game company to go do their own thing. They could do it from their studios. They can broadcast it. It's cheap. It's, in most cases free for a lot of them to do it, besides paying the staff that's running the thing. But it is annoying from a press side in that we got to keep this now full schedule of there's a 3-month period and all the different events that people are running so that we can make sure we're covering the news and things. I do miss it from that aspect. I do miss the idea of a big gaming con, but for the last 5 or 6 years, if not longer, E3 just wasn't it anyway.
Yeah, because it's the same thing I've talked about with regards to advertising. First with the magazine that I worked for, and then with websites. It's the companies don't need us as much anymore because they have all their own outlets. They have their own YouTube and Twitch channels and whatever, and they have Reddit and they have their personal Discords, whatever. That's how they get their word out more so. So they don't need to be paying us for that privilege to put a banner on our site as much. And E3 was kind of the same way. It just became outdated once we had, used to be, and I feel almost this way with regular conventions. I don't know that I really want to go to PAX or something anymore because what am I going to do there? I'm going to see trailers. I'm going to get to play games that aren't out yet. Well, I do that anyway. I just go to Steam and download the demo or watch whatever on YouTube. But it's I can get that exact same thing. I can even interact with developers maybe through social media and so on. It's just conventions in general sort of, again, I don't know if I want to say outdated, but they're definitely not as appealing as they once were. And especially once the pandemic hit and people didn't want to go out for obvious reasons, it made them even less appealing a thing to go to. And E3 was suffering for that.
The peak of E3 was really when there wasn't a distribution platform that was very intuitive and easy to use and very accessible for any publisher out there. Now you can just put a game onto Steam, put a demo out there, and do a Next Fest or something like that.
Are you saying that a combination of Steam and Twitch killed E3?
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
Plus the pandemic. The pandemic was the killing blow.
That was the final nail. It was on life support before the
That was the third strike. Yeah.
Wilfredo, are you going to miss E3?
I'm going to miss what it was, not what it became. I grew up on it too, so being excited when they were announcing PS2, I was oh my god, I'm so psyched for this. I'm so hyped. And when the system finally launched, I was yeah, I went out and got one. My grandfather was mad because he helped me buy it. It's $400 and all this stuff. He was this thing better hold up for a while. And it did. But I had him watching E3. And he was no, tell me about this here Tekken. What's this about? And I'm it's a fighting game. He's oh, here we go with all the punching and people in the face. I'm you want to do that too. So, I'll miss what it was because we got excited about stuff. Remember when we used to
I'm sorry, I just love the full on impersonation of your family members.
Oh, I love my grandfather. I love him to death. I would do that.
There's those I think Papa John's commercials with Shaq where he's playing his whole family. Uncle Shaq.
Wilfredo's going to show you how they make a Shaq-a-roni pizza.
He actually put on a beard. Wilfredo put on a white beard.
I'll tell you right now, I'm going to go in this kitchen. I'm going to get me a donut.
Damina, I bet, is in her glory, by the way, because she thinks Wilfredo is one of the funniest people in the world and has wanted to do a cast with Wilfredo for a while.
He is. He is hilarious. In case anyone didn't know that, he is hilarious.
Sometimes I don't.
I mean, sometimes you may be unintentionally hilarious, which is even better.
I agree. But yeah, there was a time back when E3 would come out and you would get the official Xbox magazine and PlayStation magazine and get demo disc and stuff like that. And you'd be psyched for it. And we're not going to get that anymore.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm going to miss what it once was.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to miss what it became.
Dom, here's a sentence you'll never hear somebody say again. Dude, G4 is going to be off the hook this week. It's E3.
Oh my god. Yep.
Man.
Oh.
Speaking of things that are no longer there and tried to come back and now are still no longer there. What else? What else did we have this year? Oh, Activision being purchased by Microsoft. Troy, I know you've espoused a lot of opinions on this on casts as we were watching this all rolled out. I mean, hell, this all started when Jason was still an employee here. Just finally,
years and
years ago, another story.
How's that Epic Apple thing?
I was going to say another story that you were working on way back when has finally come to some type of fruition this week with Epic getting a massive win against Google. A jury finding, Google's kind of monopolistic and anti-competitive, and now a judge is going to have to figure out how to penalize them. That won't be appealed or anything. Don't worry about it. So what are you thinking now, Troy, that we've had a few months? We've also seen Microsoft engage in talks with unions over at ZeniMax, bringing on some QA into full-time status with pay raises and benefits, upping the pay for the other part-time QA employees. We've seen them make those statements leading into the FTC stuff about, hey, we'll support if you want to unionize, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. We'll stay out of it. We'll stay neutral. We're kind of starting to see their influence in some thoughts on what might be on Xbox Game Pass, what might not be. Are you still as hopeful for this buyout as you were initially?
Yeah, I think so. I think so far they've pretty much kept their word on some of the things they were saying beforehand of how it would go and how they would treat employees and what they were going to do with some of the games and stuff. I think it's taking probably a little longer than some of us thought for some of this stuff to start hitting Game Pass and things like that. But they at least said, when the purchase went through, hey, due to all the complications with the FTCs and all that some of this stuff is going to take a little longer than you would have initially thought. So still waiting for some of the stuff to hit Game Pass. Still waiting for the day World of Warcraft is on Game Pass. That may be the moment that World of Warcraft makes a huge comeback. But yeah, so far I think they've kept their word, and I think everything's looking pretty positive for that.
We only have a couple of weeks left of Bobby Kotick's reign, Sean. He is expected to leave based on his previous statements at the close of the year. So he'll be gone. Any takes on this? I know you've got some hot cakes to share.
I mean, we already know how honest Bobby is.
He is an upright
pillar of
citizen, to be
integrity.
sure.
Yes, totally believable. I mean, I don't know. Like, I wanted to be more optimistic, and I kind of feel like I'm in a grandpa kind of like jaded type of vibe when it comes to gaming.
Are you Wilfredo's grandfather?
Well, I tell you now.
I don't care.
How's that donut?
Just
PlayStation 2, man. No, but the reason why I'm hopeful, I love the Game Pass. I think it's done great things. But Microsoft acquired Bethesda, and it's been almost 3 years since then. And at the time, it was because Starfield was going to be like a PlayStation exclusive. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
Way back when.
Yeah, and so I don't know, like from the time of purchase to the time acquiring to how much change you can do, but just to see that the way that Starfield has been managed and handled, not beyond even the PR, I don't know. I don't know how useful or how much change Microsoft is going to enact within Activision, because while Bobby is definitely a key role in that, I don't think he's the only problem. Like, he cut the head off the snake, but what new head is going to grow in its place type of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really that. I think the thing with Microsoft is they just take a hands-off approach. So whatever is going on in the company is going to continue to go on the company, and there might not be as like a hard punishment for not doing things. And I think that comes across to a lot of people as like Microsoft failing, but really you could take two approaches. You could take the Sony approach where you're very hands-on and you're moving, studios towards, specific directions, and sometimes causing your games to kind of feel all the same, which is how I feel about most Sony games. They kind of all blend together for me. Where with Microsoft, you take a hands-off approach, and that causes results of you can have really good games like Hi-Fi Rush or really bad games like Redfall, because they just let whatever release with no ifs, ands, or buts. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Blizzard and Activision come out of it. I think what really makes me hopeful is the WoW team,
Yes.
who really just shows like, if they come out with a Classic Plus, I think that's like continue Season of Discovery into like a Classic Plus. I think that would be sort of the renaissance for World of Warcraft. I don't think retail ever will be, because in my view, you have to have challenging enough content throughout a leveling process and just in general, but not too challenging content. And retail is like you gather 20 mobs and everything dies in 2 seconds, where Classic, you actually have to methodically work your way through just any standard cave wall leveling. you can't really just do, go balls to the wall.
Yeah.
So I think really my hope lies with the WoW team for sure, and a Classic Plus eventually in the future.
Any other big news that anybody wants to talk about? I'll open it up for them there. I mean, we got the Unity stuff that happened this year. Oof. We also have the Bungie oof that basically closing out the year, and we're just kind of silently waiting to see if Sony ends up taking over the damn company that they bought. All kinds of game news this year. Any last minute ideas or chat? Anybody wants to chime in? Stunning silence.
I mean,
we still don't. I know this is kind of like not multiplayer, but it is multiplayer. We still haven't decided if we're getting pancakes or waffles.
Oh God! Don't start. Don't start.
Oh, we're bringing pre-show talk in? Oh, okay.
what about the crepes?
Crepes.
Crepes are not off the menu. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm skipping right to dessert. I'm going for cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon buns.
I hate all of you. I hate all of you. Oh, you can watch Skull and Bones on Twitch right now. Yeah, that's right. The beta access started. Remember, though, if you get into the Skull and Bones beta, which I'm sure won't be anything like the day before, if you get into the Skull and Bones beta, you can only play for 6 hours. That's it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, their closed beta, which kicks off today ahead of their February release, you can only play for 6 hours. Because that doesn't
just keeps getting better and better.
That doesn't sound like anybody trying to hide anything, Troy.
No, if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is at this point.
It's like people can beat our game in 10 hours, Matthew. What should we do? Only give them 6 hours of beta access.
I can't wait. Although Mike didn't get me a code, so I can't play this.
There's no way. Hey, man, I've given you a ton of codes, but there's no way Ubisoft is sending me codes for this. I guarantee you. There is no way, the way I have lambasted this, that Ubisoft is going to be like, here's some free codes.
We've been a little too honest.
Little too honest.
Our game could be beaten in 10 hours. Well, just make them only be able to play for 6. You're brilliant.
I were favorable about that Extraction game.
What's that?
What was it?
Oh,
Ghost Recon Extraction, whatever it was.
No, it was Rainbow. It was Rainbow Six Extraction.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
Yep.
On a kind of a side note to what we were talking about with the acquisition, I will say, and Game Pass, today Larian Studios came out and said that BG3 will never be on Game Pass, and the reason provided was because it built such a wealth of a game. The price tag they feel like is justified, and I saw the article and I was like, I totally 100% agree. I love that game and I love everything in it.
That also explains why it was the only game from the award show that didn't go on sale.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as go ahead.
That's all I was saying, because they don't need to.
Exactly, because they don't need to. Well, let's slide over and do the weekly bombs. Remember, if you're listening to this, thank you so much. Again, give it a like, a subscribe, turn on those notifications, all the good stuff that feeds the algorithms and keeps it going. And if you like what we do here, obviously stop on over to MMOBomb.com. Check out all the other videos, articles, interviews, giveaways. Say hi to us in the comments there. You know, the site's what pays the bills, so we appreciate the visit. Much obliged. No Always Online podcast next week or the week after. We're off for the week of Christmas, weekend of Christmas and the weekend of New Year's. We will return on Friday, January 5th with episode 501. It'll be me, Matthew, and somebody else. I don't know who yet, but we'll figure it out. I think it's time now to go around and give our end of the year end of the year bombs. And Jason, I mean, if you want to throw a prediction or two in there, since we missed those pieces with you no longer here, feel free. Damina, I know you have to drop in a few minutes, so we'll go to you first.
Okay. I'm giving an A bomb to the day before for falsely advertising what they were selling from the beginning and then failing so spectacularly so quickly.
Yeah, I mean that seems warranted. I guess that makes sense. Go ahead, Wilfredo.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something foolish and give my kind of myself a dub bomb, but also everybody else here for just being able to make it through 2023.
Yeah, it's kind of
it's been a very up and down year with all the gaming and all the other chaos going on in the world. I'm just glad we all made it.
Yeah, I feel like we say that at the end of most years now, which probably isn't good if you think about it holistically.
Yeah, but hey, gotta get a positive beam somewhere.
Yeah, I feel like at 2020, everybody was like, oh, thank God we made it through that year. Then 2021 is, oh, thank God we made it through that year. 2022 is like, I'm noticing a trend, gang. I'm noticing a trend. Shouldn't it be a dub bomb for the day before for doing exactly what everyone said that they would do? Maybe.
Maybe they
Fair
get
point.
both.
There you go, Damina. Give them both. What do you got, Matthew?
An A bomb and also I guess a dub bomb to E3 for going down the way it did, but also, thanks for the memories.
Yeah, there is a nostalgia, a little bit of sadness there for the nostalgia reasons. I'm not gonna lie. What do you got, Zach?
I'm gonna give a dub bomb to the World of Warcraft team. Kind of spoke on this already, but I'm just really impressed with what they're doing right now. I wasn't a huge fan of Dragonflight. Like it was really fun. I love the Dragonfly and those components that I like, but I'm really loving Season of Discovery. So I got to give a dub bomb to them because they actually managed to get me hooked on WoW again, which is surprising.
Fair enough, Jason.
For a prediction, I was going to look at. I noticed that Overwatch 2 is now up to 15% overall positive on Steam.
Oh, it's getting there.
Because it's got 50% recent. But I did a little math. I was like, maybe I'll predict they'll get to 20% during the year. And I'm like, no, they can't do that.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But I'm going to give my dub bomb to me.
Look at you and Wilfredo. No shame. You're just like, we're the
no
bomb.
shame at all. Because, and this is actually why I'm kind of sad we don't have the cameras today, is I've been working out all year, and I got a little bit of guns going right now.
Do you?
Putting on some weight and
Nice.
building up some muscles. So, yeah, I would have shown those. I'm flexing right now, but you guys can't see it.
Oh, they are so big we
Come
can.
back, Jason.
They are so big we can see them. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
all the way from wherever you are.
Wow.
But yeah, dub bomb to me for sticking with the workout plan all year long. And
Well, congrats.
some results at least.
What do you got, Troy?
Dub bomb to 500 episodes. Thanks everybody for supporting the show for that long, and dub bomb to having Allies Online installed now.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
installed.
don't
It's
roll.
ready to go.
Don't roll. Let me know what server you're on when you roll. We got to be the bad guy faction, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
cool.
right, if that's what's going on, I'm joining in too.
All right, yeah. Pick a server, Troy. Let us know. Sean, what do you got?
Dub bomb to. Can I do two?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. So the first dub bomb, it has to go towards not just the World of Warcraft team, but I think Blizzard as a whole. They've made some questionable choices this year, but in particular with Diablo 4, what they've done for season 2 has been pretty incredible. They've had a couple flunders, but overall the game is massively enjoyable. And definitely, I actually prefer it over Path of Exile right now.
Wow.
I told you, hotcakes.
That's some serious hotcakes right there.
The other dub bomb is to a game that I have played since 2004 called Tibia. The game is going strong. People have probably never heard of it, but PewDiePie loved it back in the day, and I still love it today. Game's pretty amazing. Been around for over 25 years now.
The only game named after a bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of Mike Schaffner's favorites, and there's a new game, Raven something online.
Raven Dawn.
Raven Dawn
That was
online. That's kind of
spawned
like
off
in that Tibia style.
So the thing is, that game is actually made by somebody that made a Tibia private server that got massively successful and now spawned into a game.
I just got this breaking news just came in. I just got a ping that there is a new bomb coming from Damina before she has to drop for a work conference call. Damina, let's go live to you.
Oh, live to me. Okay. I just wanted to give one more bomb to Magicman because this podcast is now 500 episodes old, but it all started as the brainchild in the basement of our home, all those years ago, and you have kept it going, and you have kept it consistent, and you have kept it interesting, and I've been doing this now for 500 episodes, so kudos to you and everybody else who stuck around and came along on this journey. Thank you for having me. For the
Yeah,
500th
thank you. That's
episode.
very, very kind of you. It was not just me in any way, shape, or form. I mean, there was a period of 70 episodes where I didn't even work here anymore. So
It was mostly me.
it was mostly Jason. Yeah, we'll give it to Jason.
Everybody
Dom,
take care. Have a safe holiday.
You too.
Dom, what do
You
you
too.
got?
Likewise.
This show just got really sappy out of nowhere, but like, so everybody always talks about, you know, how gaming adaptations of like TV shows and movies and all that stuff, like they're usually bad. Recently, they started getting good, but on the opposite end of that spectrum, I'm gonna give a bomb to Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
The bomb?
Why did you mention?
Did you
that?
say dub bomb?
No,
Okay.
no, a bomb.
Okay, A bomb. All right, good. I was gonna say that was
Yeah, just had to make sure that would have been a very hot cake.
yeah.
Oh, no.
that would have been the hottest cake ever. Now we have mounted, we have hot cakes. Like this is we just make up our own language for this damn show.
I have a question for you. Between Gollum, the Kong one, and then the what do you call it, the Walking Dead one, which one do you think takes shit show of the year?
Oh, Gollum.
Yeah.
Gollum. I mean, that is another game that almost shut down its studio days after it was released.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the day before we all knew was going to be this Gollum, we were like, this looks weird, but maybe like, okay, Gollum is stealth, kind of makes sense. He looks weird. They didn't get Andy Serkis for the voice. That's weird, but maybe. Okay, no, it's awful. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
The question I keep asking is, who asked for that?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I was saying as soon as it was announced. I'm like, who wants to play Golem in a game?
Right.
Like maybe as like a quest, but as a whole game.
I was like, well, wait, guys. It's here's the pitch room. Jason, all right, here we go. All right, I got an idea for you. Picture this. This. Splinter Cell, Sam Fisher, except we make him Gollum.
Yeah.
And then he befriends birds.
Like, yes, get that guy a raise. Obviously, I'm going to give a dub bomb to all of the viewers.
What the hell are you talking about?
All of the viewers that have watched a free-to-play cast or an always online podcast throughout all the years or listened to them. Thank you so much. We've got tons of bombs coming in saying, you know, congrats on 500. That's very kind. Thank you so much. We very much appreciate it. Obviously, if nobody listened to it, there'd be no reason to do this. So you are the entire reason that this place even still exists as a podcast. And we very much appreciate it. Spread the word, tell your friends, have them come and check us out. We love you. Dub bomb. Happy holidays. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm going to give you a question of the week, but don't forget your weekly bombs, even though it'll be 3 weeks until we do them on a show. Put them into the comments below on YouTube and on MMOBomb. Your question of the week this week is, what is your personal gaming news story of the year? Could be big or small. What meant the most to you in a good way or a bad way? Let us know in the comments why. And if you don't care about any of that, tell us about a holiday gift you got that was gaming related this year, or that you gave to somebody that you want to share some goodness with us and your weekly bombs, of course. Until next time, which is going to be in 2024. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate anything at all, enjoy some time with friends and family. Wilfredo, what do you want to plug, and where can everybody find you?
I'm still on Twitter because it's Twitter to me. Damien X Marius.
Matthew.
X gonna give it to you.
Not anymore. Matthew.
Yeah, find me on YouTube at Dino Fries. I cover games and stuff. Bye, guys. Happy holidays. Enjoy it.
I cover games and stuff. Zach.
You can follow me on Twitter at Helthurian with 1L, and also you can wishlist my game on Steam, Night of the Forgotten Realm. Just be cautious because the Steam page is very out of date and the game looks way better now.
Jason.
Follow me on Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming at twitch.tv/JasonWinter. And I started something new this week.
Yeah.
Do you remember when I used to do those articles in MMOBomb where I would like get into history of fantasy stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Parts of that. I started a YouTube
like where the
channel.
monks class came from and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I started a YouTube channel actually. Just last night. I called it Fantasy Roots. So you can go to youtube.com/@fantasyroots and you can see the first video I posted just last night.
Nifty.
bards.
Very nifty. Yeah, I love those articles.
So yeah.
So definitely check that out. Troy.
You can check me out on Twitter at NoobFridge.
Easy enough. Sean.
Yeah, you can check me out on Instagram. I've got a foodiegram. It's called Scenic Eats. SCEANIC.EATS.
Go ahead and throw it in chat just like Jason did on his YouTube, so everybody check and do the little clicky. Dom.
I already bought myself a holiday gift this year, and I literally just got it 20 minutes before we started this podcast, which was I bought myself a MetaQuest 3 so I could really trigger my motion sickness. You know?
Oh shit!
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you get motion sick. Why the hell did you buy that?
It's a new Five Nights at Freddy's game that's only in VR. I got to try it out.
Pro tip: if you are walking in VR, like your character's walking, act like you're walking in real life, and it will help you.
It'll help your inner ear.
Okay.
And also put a fan on yourself too.
Fan. Yeah, I actually heard the fan last night. So yeah, thank you.
I'll just come and stand in front of you and go.
No, I don't. No, I'm not even gonna say it. No, putting those words out into the air.
Yeah, there's a reason why I did the sound rather than say what I was gonna do because that could definitely be misconstrued. And I've been
stand right in front of you.
There is no Mike Byrne 2023 quote from a show yet, so I was not gonna have the last episode of the year have one on there. That's why I just fuck it, Mike.
You can follow me at it's just on Twitch or Twitter.
Perfect. I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me at magicman1, but of course follow at MMOBomb. That way you'll know every time we're going live with a podcast, a stream of, I guess, Alad's online, or interviews, giveaways, and all of that fun stuff. Until next time, gang, we love you so much. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the servers next year. Later. No, shut up. The music's playing.